Oh, good afternoon. Okay, another update on the van. Just a few things I wanted to touch on. A couple of things I did last night and that I'm doing today. One thing I did do, I changed that inlet manifold gasket, and yeah, because the like the water jackets in the inlet manifold had corroded, and they were welded up. Like, this is here in Tassie, they do shit jobs of a lot of things down here. But anyway, they did a shit job of welding it up. So I had to then go along and put JB weld epoxy in the little crevices and things that were still in it, and then clean it off with the foil and whatever. But because of that, I put sealant around the water jackets, just to fill in case there's still any discrepancies in it. But yeah, when I did it previously, I used the wrong sealant, and I sort of knew, but yeah, I used stag sealant, which is not really sort of suitable. Stag goes really hard, but the problem I had is that it dried and before I got the thing locked down, and that's what caused it to leak, was the actual the stag sealant. So I redid it. I still put sealant around it, around the water jackets, but I used a high temperature silicone, and only put a very, very thin smear on it. But that, well, it's Holden coolant now. I haven't run it yet, but at least that, as I said, it won't dry in the time that it takes me to, to get the manifold back on and lock it down. One issue I've had in the past, and because I've had this manifold off quite a few times in the 25 years I've been driving this van, I've replaced the lifters about 3 times in that 25 years. Lifters don't tend to last that very long. The springs collapse in them, and they got tiny little oil ways in them that get blocked up, and and they wear on the cam, and they wear where the rods are go into it. So anyway, point I was making is that the issue you'll get is these cork gaskets. Those two here, because that's the distributor end that goes up around your distributor, and this is the other end. Now, the issue you'll get is that when you go to, while you're trying to get your manifold into place, so your bolts line up and everything, these will slip off. And and I've had that issue a few times. But so this time, and I always put silicone on cork gaskets anyway. I don't like cork. Would much prefer they made them out of rubber or something. But anyway, so I said I always put silicone both sides of any cork gasket, just to be on the safe side. But what I did this time, and it worked, was I put a little bit of silicone on it and stuck it to the block. And then I gave it, probably close to an hour. Made sure it was dry and it was stuck in place and wasn't going to move. And that worked. I didn't have any issue with them trying to slide out of the way while I was getting the manifold back on. The other thing you find with these, before you put them on, just check them, because they're usually too long. You generally have to cut a little bit off both ends. What you want is that, this is the old gasket. As I said, you can't really see the stag gasket sealant, but yeah, you can see where it's actually pulled the gasket off when I've removed them. But yeah, you don't want it to hinder this gasket, so I mean it's up the end here. But you want it to just finish in the corner, so your gasket just sits neatly against the cork. And then of course, yeah, as I said, I did run silicone around the water jackets because of that. Yeah, of course the manifold isn't in perfect condition, but yeah, even if you're not going to do that, yeah, if your manifold is in perfect condition, there's no need to do that anyway. But yeah, always run a little bit of silicone in here once you get all the gaskets in place, and so these will be already stuck down. Then run a bead of silicone across this corner, or all four corners, because otherwise they will leak. Okay, if you don't do that. Right, so that's covered. I did have issues talking it down. I got to bought a brand new. I bought, because my old torque wrench failed. Bought a new large torque wrench, $300 one, but it doesn't go under 70 newtons or whatever that is in pounds, so it doesn't go down low at all. So I bought another one, paid $100 and something for it. I think it was about 120 or something, and yeah, it's pretty crap. It doesn't always click. It's a friggin' like before you start, you set it up, and then you stick it in the vise and pull it a few times and make sure it clicks. And I don't know, maybe if anybody knows about torque wrenches, leave a comment, because I'm thinking whether I maybe need to put a bit of oil in it or something, or try and make it work better, or just toss it away. And yeah, I told by another person in the comment that he'd bought a digital one that he's very happy with, and that's probably the way to go, actually. Get rid of the conventional type on the smaller one anyway. The big one works fine. But yeah, the smaller one. So anyway, as I said, this is supposed to be 41 newtons, and it did up unevenly. I had a couple of these bolts that didn't click, and I realised that I'd put more than that amount of torque on it already. So yeah, rather than undo it, I figured it could. Usually with torque settings, they're covering their ass. They're making sure that they're nowhere near the maximum torque you can put on it. So if it says 41, you can safely go to 45. So anyway, so that's what I did. I upped it to 45 and went over them again. And once again, I did have a couple that didn't click, but I was being very conscious of how much torque I was putting on it, and making sure I kept them the same. So we should be good to go on that. Anyway, that's all done. I also, couldn't get the right base gasket for the carby. That's only a standard Rochester. They should be easy to get, but I was at Autobahn. Probably, if I'd have gone to Bursons or something like that, or Repco, they'd have had one, the right one, but Autobahn didn't. Anyway, so I just bought some gasket paper, 0.8 gasket paper, made a proper one. If you're going to make your own gaskets, get yourself a set of hole punches. They're really essential. Just for bolt holes. Trying to do it with scissors, you'll tear them out and damage it. I mean, it can be done. It can be done neatly, but if you got hole punches, it just makes the job real easy and real accurate. But this is what I had put on it, and of course I wanted to get it on, but of course I had to take it off again. I thought, right, put the right gasket on it. See, this is a muddy Weet-Bix packet, cereal packet, and I mean that works. generally usually, yeah, you can sort of wipe a bit of grease over these, which will soak into the cardboard, and it'll work. It will work, you know. So, yeah, if you're stuck somewhere, you can't get the right gasket, you want to get it going, yeah, yada yada, you're out in the trail somewhere or whatever, yeah, you can use a cereal box, you know, a thin cardboard box. You can cut one out of that, and it will work. How long it works is anyone's guess, you know. Like, that probably would have failed eventually, but yeah, as I said, because I had to take it off, I thought, well, I go and get the right gasket, and then, yeah, couldn't get the gasket where I went from, so I just bought some gasket paper and, yeah, cut a new one. Yeah, I've got, yeah, all the brakes adjusted. I've still got to adjust the handbrake up. The cable's on, but I couldn't adjust it up previously because I hadn't adjusted the shoes at that point. And, yeah, I made a video about adjusting brakes just recently. It was probably the last video, actually. But, yeah, and I was saying about putting the wheel on to pull the drum into place, but yeah, that's just going to get in your way. So, yeah, there's no need to actually put the wheel on, but just put the nuts on. See, I've just got a couple of nuts on there to pull the drum into place. And the other thing I did, you know, was I wound it up with the drum off, you know, because there's a fair bit of adjustment you have to do right from, like, when you first fit them, when they're backed right off, you've got to adjust them up a fair way. So rather than doing all of that with the lever from behind, I adjusted it up, adjusted them up, yeah, until it was just touching the drum, till it was actually rubbing on the shoes when I pushed the drum on. And so, yeah, did most of it with the drum off, and then, yeah, and then this is another thing I didn't mention in the other video either, is what I like to do on this is adjust them right up until it locks, yeah, until it locks the drum. And you wind it right up till it won't go anymore. And that also helps to center your shoes into place. You know, same as, you know, hitting your pedal, yeah, and then rechecking it, because in doing that, yeah, it brings your shoes into because the shoes are sort of floating in a way. So yeah, you need to bring them into the center of your drums. But yeah, so, you know, wound them right up as far as they could go, and then backed them off until it could turn easy. Like, it's still sort of got a little bit of drag on it, but I've left it that way because, like, even though I've run it through the sandblaster and everything, I primed the inside, I taped up where I could see where the shoes were running, but, yeah, the primer's probably still running on the edge of the shoes. As, yeah, rust, dirt, and rust that's come off the drum still on the shoes, you know, bits of dirt and stuff like that. And, yeah, because I've had them off and they've been in the box for years, I'm not even sure if I've got the shoes or whether the drum's matching the shoes, you know, because I could have mixed them up from one side to the other, so they've got to bed back in. So, yeah, for that reason, I've sort of left them so they are sort of scraping a bit. Let me show you. You can probably hear it. See, a little bit tight. There's still sort of a little bit. See, it goes tight, sort of frees up a bit. But yeah, as I said, I've done it that way so that it will bed itself in. And yeah, so, yeah, scrub me tight, my tail shaft up with a wire wheel on the grinder. Got some paint on it last night, had it hanging up across my shed here. Walked into it 3 times during the night. I was rather, yeah, keen to get that back down, keen for it to dry, so, yeah. Anyway, so, basically, didn't get my clutch cover on yet. No hurry for that. I'll do that some other time. So basically all I've got to do now is put the tail shaft on, adjust the handbrake, and then it can go back on its wheels. That's basically everything done. Oh yeah, I've still got to bleed the back brakes. So yeah, got 3 things to do under there, and then it can be dropped on its wheels, and we're done for the time being now. So yeah, getting pretty close to a startup. So that's going to be happening tomorrow, I would think. So yeah, as I said, once I get the tail shaft on, the brakes bled, handbrake adjusted, the only thing I got to do then is yeah, get the wiring harness back in, hook everything up. Once I've done that, got all the wiring hooked up, got a battery in, then I can do a static time or a, initial time on the distributor for startup. I see a lot on YouTube where people are trying to fire it up and they're out there with the little dizzy and they're frigging around and mucking around and trying to get it to start. And why not just set it right to begin with? I see trained mechanics doing this, and I think, what the? I mean, it's really, really simple, and I'll make a specific video on how to do that. How to set your timing right before you turn it over, before you try and start it up. You get it right and you know it's going to start. So it's really quite simple, but I'll do another separate video on that. Anyway, so yeah, that'll be tomorrow, hopefully, unless something else happens in the meantime. But yeah, I'll get back to the brake bleeding. I've made 2 videos on this now, on a simple process of brake bleeding. Now, I'm 64 years old. I've been mucking around with cars since I was a kid, well, cars and motorbikes, started with motorbikes, but yeah, since I was basically 10 years old, I've been learning how to do things and, working on my own cars and bikes. And, I've always done brakes the way that I've been shown, 2 people. One person pumping, the other person and opening and shutting the bleeder. And yeah, just recently, because I'm trying to do everything by myself now, I rarely ever have assistance out here. It's just me. And, it just occurred to me one day that there's no need to be doing all that. You don't need 2 people. You don't need, any of that mucking around. It's really, really simple. And as I said, I have made a separate video on it. Right. All you got to do, I've already bled the other side. Right. I'll show you why I bled the other side. Right. This is the front line. It comes down from your master cylinder. Right. Now the one from the other side is directly below it. So that's where your fluid's going to run. It's going to run straight down. So that's why I bled that one first. Because this one is sort of a sideline off this valve thing. Right. But anyway, as I said, like at the hose on there, I've got the bleeder open. And the important thing when you're doing it this way, quite often too, I learnt this is on motorbikes, you have a lot of trouble with the front brakes and rear and the clutch. On a lot of modern motorbikes, you've got a hydraulic clutch as well. And you'll pump, and it just won't pump the fluid down to the cylinder, to the slave cylinder. And so what I've learnt, is you get one of these. Get these in super cheap. And it's actually, I bought this to measure, accurate measurement for fork oil on a motorbike. And but yeah, you just hook it on the line, open your bleeder, and just draw it out. It just draws the air out. But that will only work, and if you take your bleeding nipple right out, you run grease around the thread of your needle of your nipple, That stops it drawing air in around the nipple itself. And that's important in this process. See, it's not like if you're doing it the old way, the conventional way with two people, then it's not that important because you're opening it and shutting it at the appropriate times. But yeah, the way I'm doing it now, you do need to make sure that it's not going to draw air in around your bleeding nipple. As I said, so I've had that open for half an hour now, and yeah, I'll go and give it a couple of pumps in a minute. But see, by running the line up, and you'll see this when I pump it, right? Your fluid, your air comes up, rises up to the top. Your fluid stays down at the bleeding nipple. And as I said, this is the importance of not being able to draw air around the bleeding nipple. Now, when you take your foot off and it draws back, it can't draw air in because the air's up here. If you've only got fluid here at the bleeding nipple, then the only thing that can draw back in is fluid. See, so you can have that open as long as you like, you can pump it as long as you like. You could do all 4 breaks at the same time, if you like. Doesn't make any difference. As long as there's no air at the bleeding nipple, it can't draw it back in. It's that simple. Anyway, so, yeah. Not on these Holdens too, you've got, as I said, you've got 2 separate chambers for your front and rear. And what I've learnt just recently when I've been mucking around this last couple of days, you've got your rear is when your foot's sort of right down. The first, like it moves your front first before it gets to the back. So you can sort of, as I said, you can just push it in. So this has already got pressure in the back. Even though I hadn't bled it, it's got pressure in there by accident because I neglected to tighten up the hard line where it meets the flexible line that goes down to the diff. So yeah, it's already sort of self-bled itself right up to where the flexible line goes down to the diff. So, but anyway, I'm only doing the front now, so I'm not pushing it all the way in, I'm just doing the front. Yeah, so let's give that a couple of pumps and I have topped up. See that? Right, watch when I take my foot off. Yeah, probably already gone too far. You still see air coming out, hopefully. Still air coming out. Right. When you take your foot off, it runs back in, it draws it back in. So, as I said, this is why you make sure you got your air floating up to the top and only fluid. Anyway, I've done about 4 pumps. I better not pump it anymore now without checking the master. If I run that dry, you've got to start the whole process again. So, yeah, I'll top that up before I go any further. But yeah, so that's basically bled now. There's probably still a couple of bubbles in there. I'll go a couple of pumps on more on that, and then I'll go over the other side, do the same again. But there's a good thing about this too, in that because everything's been cleaned out, all the lines are new, calipers been cleaned out, master cylinder, everything, so it's all clean. So I don't need to waste the fluid that's coming out of here. All the fluid that's coming through is new, it's clean. Yeah, I will run it through a filter. I've actually saved a bit of fine mesh filter out of a dishwasher that I pulled to pieces just recently, so yeah, I'll get some of that and I'll run it through that just in case there's any little bits of grit that might have been left in something. But yeah, basically, as I said, it's all new fluid. I can put it back in the bottle. So, yeah. Anyway, as I said, see, there's no hurry to tighten this up again. Yeah, I'll top the fluid up, I'll give it another couple of pumps, and I'll tighten it up, go over the other side. But yeah, it's really really simple, and I'm really surprised, you know, that even trained mechanics are still doing it the old way, you know. I mean, I'm not the most brilliant person on earth. How come I'm the only one that's figured this out? Yeah, I don't know. As I said, you know, I'm 64 years old. I've been, you know, 50 years doing it the way I was shown, never ever thinking too much about it. And yeah, it's really, really simple. Just make sure the air can't get back in. And that's it. The air can't get back in. There's no need to do it the conventional way. You just pump it and pump it, keep your fluid topped up. When there's no more air coming out, shut it off and you're done. Simple. Anyway, been rambling on for a while now, so yeah, hopefully tomorrow we'll get a startup video. I was going to put the exhaust pack on. As you see the old exhaust up here. It's pretty well busted up. Yeah. These ones have been rejoined. Both of them got broken at different times. Yeah. They were welded under the car. You can see how crappy them welds are. That's, yeah, lying under the car. Welding them back in because I didn't want to undo the bolts, because, yeah, they just break off. They're a pain, so I just avoided that. Yeah, this piece here, yeah, same story. Welding it under the car. Yeah. So I used to go out in the forest with this collecting firewood, and yeah, same with the muffler. I don't know how many mufflers I've put on it now. They've just, yeah, got caught on rocks and busted up, and this is all dented up. And yeah, this one I've replaced. That one, the original, and yeah, they're not that great anyway. You know, they got crushed bends. They're not a good. They weren't that great to start with. That's what I'm getting to. So, and yeah, so I'm going to replace all of that. I'm going a twin system. I just want the sound that comes with a twin system. And I was going to put them back on for the time being, but yeah, we got one bent, busted up flange gasket here, and I've got no idea what happened to these ones. Oh, hang on. Oh, one's still on it, one's missing. But I'd have to put a whole lot of mani-seal on it, and yeah, as I said, I'd still have to take them back off again anyway. And yeah, so I'm not that interested in putting them back in, but I'd also kind of hear it just for the headers anyway. Like a bit of noise. My neighbours probably don't, but anyway, as I said, other than I probably will go for a drive up the driveway and back, but yeah, other than that, I'll be, yeah, drive from the garage back to the shed and back to the garage between working on it and other things. So yeah, I'm in no hurry to put them back on. I certainly don't like putting things back on temporary that I know I'm going to take off again. So yeah, might be staying this way until I can afford to make up my twin system. Anyway, that's a pretty big ramble for today. What are we up to? 29 minutes. Yeah, I think. Put my glasses on. Yeah. Okay, this is probably one of my longest videos yet. I usually try and keep my videos at around 10-minute mark. And yeah. Alright, well, if you're still with us, thanks for watching. And yeah, hit a like please. And hopefully catch you next one. Oh, now before I shut off, I got one more thing to mention. Right, I looked everywhere I could think. I spent an hour on a computer the other night trying to find the torque setting for the brake caliper. And I did mention this in another video, but I couldn't find torque settings for anywhere for anything on any of those models. You know, it's really surprising. Like there's what, at least 10 years of these H models, or you know, HQ to WB models. So you'd think, you know, somebody would have posted information like that, torque settings, on the internet somewhere, but nobody has. And even videos, like I watched, you know, the only 2 videos I could find of people, you know, rebuilding calipers and put them back on. Like I already knew how to do that anyway, but I watched the whole of 2 videos hoping that they were going to say what the torque settings were, and they didn't. So anyway, so what I've done, I've gone to the library today, found a workshop manual, actually managed to find a V8, which mustn't have been there the other day, because I went and looked something up last week and I couldn't find one on a V8. There's only a 6-cylinder one, but anyway, I've got all the torque settings for everything except the gearbox and the diff, and they're pretty much a specialised job anyway, so yeah, the average Joe doesn't pull his gearbox apart or his diff. But anyway, I'm going to cut and paste them. When I say cut and paste, I mean get the scissors out, cut out the pieces I need and stick them all onto a page and put them all up on video, zoom in on them. And yeah, so all of the torque settings for the V8, for your suspension, your brakes, and yeah, I've also got some wiring diagrams. As I said, I'll zoom in on them and try and get it as large as I can and as clear as I can. But yeah, I've got 3 different ones because I've basically got 3 different systems running on this. Well, this is a Belmont panel van. But yeah, see, so there's the wiring for your Belmont Kingswood, and but I've also got, yeah, I've got the GDS instruments. Even though they're already wired up, it's good to have a diagram of them. Yeah, they should all just, well, they're disconnected at the moment. There shouldn't be any issues though. It should all just plug back into place. But the other thing is I've got Statesman doors now with electric windows. So yeah, I've also got, I didn't take my glasses to the friggin' library with me. That's twice now. So, you know, like when I look at this, I can just read wiring diagram for Statesman, DeVille. That's about as much as I can read, you know, and even that I've got to squint to read that, but without my glasses. But anyway, hopefully it's got all the electric windows and stuff, because that's what I've now got to wire in, is the Statesman electric windows. But anyway, as I said, I'm going to make up another video once I've gone through this and chopped out physically with the scissors the bits I don't want. And yeah, I'll make a video so anybody wanting torque settings from now on can watch it. They can do a snapshot or screenshot, print them up if they like. And yeah, like I get a lot of things off YouTube. You know, YouTube's been the most helpful thing ever as far as fixing things. You know, I used to always refer to books and stuff like that, but nowadays, you know, there's usually somebody's made a video of doing that job, and so you just go and watch somebody else's video and watch a couple, you know, and yeah, so what you take from, you got to give back, you know. So yeah, so I'm gonna be putting these up on videos, and hopefully the next person that's looking for torque settings will be able to find them. Anyway, as I said, if you're still with us, thanks for watching, and hit like, and hopefully we'll catch you on the next one. Bye.